The World Athletics Committee has banned transgender women from competing in any sports. Now, if you don't know who the World Athletics are, they're the amateurs for basically running, swimming, etc. And I support this rule. Trans women have a supreme advantage over regular women because they're fucking men. You have a higher bone density, you have higher testosterone, you have higher muscle mass, fast twitch fibers. These things have been proven time and time again. And I know there's the argument that, oh, well, after 2 years, that all bullshit. No, it doesn't, because while the drug tests you up to 7 years, they pull a hair sample that can see if you've used testosterone within 7 years, because testosterone has such an effect on the body that 7 years later, you can still have an effect from this. As a matter of fact, some science shows that even after 10 years, the muscle, bone density, etc., that's increased from the illegal usage of testosterone can be massive. And let's deal with reality here. It's not hormone replacement therapy. It's fucking steroids. You're doing testosterone at a higher enough level that it's literally suppressing your estrogen, raising your testosterone so that you can be a man, or vice versa. Either way, you have an unfair advantage. If you're a trans woman, you have the advantage of already having muscle fibers, bone density, etc. from your genetics. And if you're a trans man, you have the advantage of being on testosterone. So not only can you get your testosterone levels up to get you to actually make a significant body change in the masculine features, etc., but you have a higher testosterone level than an actual fucking man because you're on steroids. Now, here's the thing. The majority of women who compete in these sports, the vast majority, well over 99% of them, say they do not want to compete against trans athletes. They feel that it's an unfair advantage for trans athletes to compete against regular women. The people who are pushing for the trans athletes are women who don't participate or watch sports in the LGBT community. The women within these sports know that these trans athletes have an unfair advantage. It's been proven time and time again. Trans individuals come in, break world records immediately. Fallon Fox came into the UFC, actually cracked somebody's skull. And the one loss that Fallon Fox had, the woman who beat her said, fighting Fallon Fox was like fighting a man. She said she has never felt that type of strength or power from any woman. Mind you, this is a professional UFC fighter, a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Says she has never felt that type of power when dealing with a woman, because the reality is this is a man taking estrogen to take on the features of a woman, not losing the bone density, the strength, the muscle, etc. And when they do start to lose it, if they're an athlete, they're going to maintain what they have. Even though they may lose a little bit, it's still going to be an unfair advantage against women who are born women. Trans athletes do not have the right to compete against women. It's bullshit, and there has to come a point in time where feelings have to stop mattering. I had an argument with a woman on live on TikTok today, and this motherfucking bitch going to tell me that she supports trans athletes being in women's sports. So, of course, me being me, knowing that she's a lying ass bitch, and I do use that word because that's what she is, I said, name 4 WNBA teams. She couldn't. Name 3 WNBA players. Name 3 females in the UFC. Name 3 female sports figures. Name a female softball team. She couldn't name nothing. So you have an opinion on women's sports and you think that's valid because you're a woman, but you're not involved in sports. You're not the person who has to deal with these individuals who have an unfair advantage. Your feelings do not override the feelings of people who are actually involved in this sport. The reality of the situation is, if you don't watch female sports or compete in them, what the fuck are you commenting for? Because you feel like you want to be involved in this wave, this LGBT, oh, I'm important, I want to be, fuck that. If the women in female sports say they do not want to compete against trans athletes because they feel that trans athletes have an unfair advantage, and the science so far with the few trans athletes has proven that they have an unfair advantage. Listen, the amount of trans athletes that are competing against women is so fractional, it's so small that I could almost guarantee it's less than 100. You got fucking 20 records out of 100 people. If you don't think that's an unfair advantage, you're delusional. But you're not delusional. You're a fucking liar. And you see the unfair advantage. But you're lying because you're pushing this LGBT fucking agenda. This bullshit agenda that trans women and women are the same thing when they are fucking not. And you know it. If there's 100 athletes and 20 of them have records, that percentile is preposterous compared to the women who are born women. Say you got 100 women and 100 trans athletes, then the 100 women are going to lose to the 100 trans athletes every single time. Yeah, you can take the best woman in the world, the most athletic, strongest woman in the world, and put her into this trans group. And yeah, she might win. She probably will win. But everybody else is going to suffer. The supreme advantage that these trans athletes have, and a lot of them are not even good athletes. They're mid-grade athletes as men, and they transition over, and now all of a sudden they're Olympic level athletes. It's fucking bullshit. And you know it's bullshit. And if you're a woman watching this and you don't watch women's sports, shut the fuck up. If you're a woman and you've never participated in competitive women's sports, not I'm going to give you a fucking marathon trophy because you went out and walked with 1,000 other people, so here's your medal for walking. Shut the fuck up. If you didn't do competitive sports as a woman, shut the fuck up, because your opinion is fucking valid. The women who compete in competitive sports do not want trans athletes competing against them. And their opinion to me and what they say is more valid than anything you rainbow motherfuckers think.